Hey, it's Nathan. Thanks for watching my video. Tonight I'm doing a video about gaming on a budget. A couple of months ago I did some videos in which I mentioned that I'm cutting back on how many games I'm buying because I realize I don't play all the games in my collection and I don't have as much disposable income as I used to. So since then, in the past 2 months, I have actually bought a lot of new games and I've played a lot of new games. In the last couple of months, I've played about 11 new games, and I was thinking back to 2014. I think I played maybe 8 new games in 2014. So as you can see, just in the past 2 months, I've played more new games than I've played in the entire previous year, and I'm really hoping that that trend will continue through the rest of 2015. Well, how am I doing that when, like I said, I'm hesitant about buying new games because I don't play all the games I own and I'm on a limited income? Well, there's really a lot of it has to do with changing my perspective on my gaming collection. And really what it amounts to is I'm not building a collection so much as just there are games that I own and that I play. And when I don't play a game anymore, it's going to go out of my collection. In fact, I've even started keeping track of the games that I own and when I play them so I can see, if I haven't played a game in 6 months or if I only played a game twice in the whole past year or things like that. Help me kind of judge when I should let games go out of my collection. And really the benefit for me as a hobbyist is I enjoy playing a wide variety of games, but also as an amateur game designer, being able to play a bunch of new games exposes me to a lot of new ideas and helps me in my efforts to design games of my own. So that's kind of the key aspect of everything I'm about to say from this point on is just that I've kind of changed my perspective on my game library and that I'm no longer trying to collect games as just looking at it as like, these are the games that I own right now. Any of them could leave my collection at any point, and games can come into my collection, don't necessarily have to stay there. So 4 things specifically that I've done to be able to experience new games this year is first of all, trading games. If you don't know about this already and you're a gaming enthusiast, you should go to a website called BoardGameGeek.com. They have all kinds of fabulous resources on there for gamers. You can read about all kinds of different games that have come out. You can find reviews, video reviews. You can find people's house rules. You can find like homemade expansions for games, all kinds of really cool stuff for board games and card games. But one of the tools that they have on there is a tool that helps you trade games with other users of that website. So basically you can list games that you're interested in obtaining, and you can list games that you own that you're interested in getting rid of, and then this tool on the website will help match you up with other people who have the games you want and what the games you have, and then you can trade. Now, with any kind of thing that you do like that, there's a little bit of risk involved, I suppose, that you might send your game off to somebody and they'll never send you the game that you were supposed to get from them. But in my experience, which is somewhat limited, I've only traded a couple of times now, but I haven't had any bad experiences yet. And you can see the people that you're trading with. You can see like their rating, kind of similar to the way individual sellers are rated on eBay. So you can kind of see and make sure that you're trading with someone who's reliable and people have had good experiences with before. So trading games, really cool idea. That's one way I've gotten about, I think, 4 or 5 new games, that I've been able to acquire in the last couple of months. Another option to help you be able to get more games is by selling games that you already have. A couple of months ago I had a video in which I listed a pretty extensive list of games that I was looking to get rid of, Since then, I've gotten rid of all of them. Most of them I sold. A few of them I gave away to friends. But again, most of them I sold. And so all the money that I've got from selling those games, I've turned around and put into buying new games. That way, I can continue to get new games, try out new games, but my net expense for being a gaming hobbyist so far this year has been zero. I've sold just as much as I've bought. So I've been able to acquire new games, try out new games, but I haven't actually had any net expenses for my gaming hobby. And again, a lot of that has to do with having that attitude that, I have these games right now, but I'm not building a collection. If this game isn't getting played, if it's not as fun as some other game that I have, then I can sell it and use that to invest in a new game. Another option that you can take up is trying out demo games. At your local gaming stores, they might have a shelf of games that are just there for you to take down and set up at a table and play at no cost to yourself. Just this past week, I did that with my sister and my wife. We went down to Cool Stuff Games in Maitland, which is a really cool local gaming store. If you're in the Central Florida area and you haven't been there, you should go check it out. And they had, a big shelf, about the size of this bookshelf behind me. I don't know how well you can see that in the video, but yeah, about that size. Just full of games. You can just take them down and play them. So we played a game called Takenoko, which I had seen some reviews of. I'd read about it, heard it was a pretty cool game. But it wasn't something that I was so interested in I would go buy. But being able to just go there and play it was pretty cool. So that was neat. I'm looking forward to doing that some more. I know they had at least half a dozen other games on that shelf that I was specifically interested in trying. And then there's probably more that, I wouldn't mind trying. I just don't know anything about them right now. So that's another option, another way you can play new games without having to put out any money. And the fourth way that I wanted to mention in this video is the old do-it-yourself approach. Basically, I watch a lot of video reviews of games, and recently I watched a couple where I was like, oh, I could make that game myself. Like, the components to the game are simple enough. I could just make something up on my computer and print it out, and I would have an approximation of that game for no greater expense than the time it would take me to put it together. A couple of games, just as an example, are the game Nia, that's spelled N-I-Y-A, and the game Spyfall. You can go on YouTube, you can find video reviews of both of those games, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, where you watch the video review and you'll think, well, I could make that myself. So I'm not saying necessarily make all your own games and don't give any support to the brilliant people out there who are designing and publishing games. But, if there's a game that looks kind of interesting, but it's not a game you'd go out and buy, but it's simple enough that you could just put it together yourself, go ahead and put it together yourself, and then you can try the game out without any expense. So those are just 4 ways, that I've found so far that I can keep my gaming hobby not only going, but actually thriving while still operating on a small budget. And just a quick recap, you can trade for games. BoardGameGeeks.com is a great place to do that, but you might be able to just find friends or family who are also into gaming and trade with them. That's another option. Second is selling games. Honestly, if you haven't played it in the last 6 months, if you don't enjoy it as much as you thought you would enjoy it, there's no reason to hang on to it. Go ahead and sell it, turn around, put that money into buying some new game. The third one is demoing games. Go to your local game store, see if they have games there that you can demo. If you live anywhere near where I live, Cool Stuff Games is a great place to go for that. And then the fourth one is do it yourself. Some games are just so simple. Once you see a video explaining how the game works, you could put the components together yourself and try it out without having to invest any money in it. So hopefully that's helpful to you. Looking forward to being able to try out a bunch of new games in the future. I've already got a couple of games I've bought that I haven't had a chance to play yet. And yeah, so hopefully this year will continue to be a great year for gaming for me. Hopefully it's a great year of gaming for you. And until I see you again, good gaming.